What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Crime Center. Before we get into this video, I'm going to do a little recap so y'all know exactly what's going on. So this guy you're about to see is Granville Ritchie. Ritchie and a friend, Ebony Wiley, picked up a little girl, Felicia Williams, 9 years old, from her home in Tampa Bay. Miss Wiley was a friend of the girl's family, and she and Ritchie had just become a couple. After picking up Felicia, Ritchie drove them to a fast food drive-thru to get food for the little girl, then drove back to Ritchie's mom's house, which is where he also lived. At home, Ritchie gave some Molly, the drug, to Wiley, and then a short time after that, he sent her to go and pick up some marijuana. Wiley was going to take Felicia with her, but Ritchie told her, just go ahead and leave her here. You're going to be driving with no license, and you're going to have drugs in the car. So she agreed and left her there. While alone with Felicia, Ritchie brutally attacked her, stripped her, and assaulted her. During the battery, Ritchie violently inflicted blunt force injury to her head and body, caused several injuries, both internal and external, to her genitals by forcefully penetrating her private with his own. During this attack, he manually choked the victim with such force he caused extensive injuries to her neck, including damage to the deep internal muscle and cartilage structures, which means he choked her pretty bad. The little girl died, and the way he tried to cover it up is he was telling everybody she had left to a pharmacy down the street to go get some candy and never came back. And then later on, his story changed that he went and picked her up after the candy and dropped her off at a friend's house, and she ran away from the friend's house. Nobody believed that. So, since she couldn't be found because of his stories, uh, her body would eventually be found on the north side of the Courtney Campbell Causeway in Old Tampa Bay, and it would be in the same approximate location as where he had first dumped her. After an investigation, it was easy to see what had taken place and who had done it. So, literally, to take her body to the dumping site, he put her in a rolling suitcase, put her in the trunk, went and dumped her. They saw this on the traffic cameras. There was just a whole bunch of evidence that he had done it, and this is him right now in court. So we're going to go ahead and get into this.
I need you to stand and please approach the podium.
That's the monster right there. It pisses me off just looking at him.
Mr. Ritchie, the court has thoroughly reviewed and considered the record concerning defendant's trial, including both the guilty and penalty proceedings, as well as the memoranda submitted by both the state and the defense. The court has also evaluated and weighed the aggravating factors the jury has found to exist beyond a reasonable doubt, and the mitigating circumstances established by the evidence. The court acknowledges that this weighing is not a quantitative comparison, but instead requires a qualitative analysis of each aggravating factor and each mitigating circumstance. The court has assigned an appropriate weight to each and finds that the aggravating factors found to exist.
Just looking at his hands after reading everything about that story, it deeply pisses me off. This grown dude used his huge hands to hurt a 9-year-old.
Heavily outweigh the mitigating circumstances presented. The court finds that the jury's recommendation to impose a death sentence is consistent with its verdict and is based on the evidence presented regarding the aggravating and mitigating circumstances.
Exactly what he gets. Exactly what he gets. That's exactly what he deserves. So, his sentence is death. I think he has a couple of more charges, so let's see what else they tack onto that. He's actually lucky, because if he would go to regular population in prison with the charge that he has, he'd probably be put down a lot sooner than people think. He wouldn't have a good time with that. So yeah, he's eventually gonna be put down for it, but uh, he's lucky he didn't just go to regular prison with a regular sentence, and he would have had a tough time every day. Instead, he's going to be a death row inmate, and they'll have him on a separate tier, and they're all just separated 1 cell each. So
The court agrees with the jury's unanimous recommendation based on its own assessment of the aggravating factors weighed against the mitigating circumstances. The court finds that the aggravating factors substantially outweigh the mitigating circumstances
yeah,
and sufficiently warrant a sentence of death in this case. Therefore, the court finds that the sentence of death is the appropriate penalty the court should impose
it is
for the
appropriate.
murder of 9-year-old Felicia Williams, as charged in count 1 of the indictment.
Count 1. How many more counts? Was somebody
Accordingly,
clapping?
as to count 1, for the first-degree murder of Felicia Williams, the defendant, Granville Ritchie, is hereby sentenced to death. Defendant shall be delivered into the custody of the Florida Department of Corrections at the Florida State Prison,
And you'll be put
where he
down like
shall
the
be
animal you are.
confined until a date certain, selected by the governor of the state of Florida, and on.
So I'm not going to get all political and stuff, but you know when you hear heinous crimes like this in certain states, I'm not going to name any states, and they get like 10 years or probation or something like that. Those are states that are soft on crime, and there's a certain political leaning to those states. And then you have states like Texas, Florida, that don't play that. And if you hurt a child and do heinous stuff like this, you will pay for it. You're going to pay for it in prison around all the other inmates, or you're going to get something like him and get a death penalty. And it's well deserved.
That date, defendant shall be executed in a method provided for by the laws of the state of Florida. As to count 2, for the sexual battery of a victim less than 12 years of age by a defendant over the age of 18, committed against 9-year-old Felicia Williams, defendant shall be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Ooh, life no parole.
As to count 3,
Doesn't matter though.
Aggravated child abuse of Felicia Williams, defendant shall be sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. Counts 1, 2, and 3 shall run consecutively to each other.
Okay, that's important right there. Consecutively. Consecutively means you have to do one sentence all the way to it's completed, and then do the second sentence all the way to it's completed, and so on and so forth. So say he goes to court and he gets the death taken off, right? Somehow, some way he gets the death sentence thrown out. Well, he still has to do a life with no parole, and then there's no other way for him to do it. But then after that, he has to do the 30 years. Or say he gets the life with no parole thrown out, and he still has death. So it doesn't matter what he does, he's done. That's consecutive. Concurrently would have meant that all 3 of those combined into one. So you take the worst one, which is the death, and everything else goes into that. But for example, so you can understand, say somebody gets count 1 10 years, count 2 10 years, count 3 10 years. You would think that's 30 years. But if they run it concurrent, they all go into one, and he has 10 years. So.
However, the 2 cases you pled to earlier today will run concurrent with count 1.
There you go.
Defendant is hereby notified that this sentence is subject to automatic review by the Supreme Court of Florida.
Because it's a death.
Counsel will be appointed by separate order to represent defendant for that purpose.
New lawyer.
Further, pursuant to Section 922.105 Florida statute, defendant has 30 days from the issuance of a mandate from the Supreme Court of Florida affirming the sentence of death to elect death by electrocution by the procedures required by law.
Ooh, you gonna write old Sparky there? Buddy boy.
One final thing to say to you.
Uh-oh. So before she starts, you gotta realize judges are human too. She is a lady. She's possibly a mother. Just like there's guys who are possibly fathers. When something like this happens to one of them, they don't like it. They could get emotional. They could get mad, because if somebody did that to my little girl, he's not going to make it to court. But everybody's different. Not everybody's like that, you know. But let's see what she has to say. She looks like she's kind of going to get on him a little bit.
There will be no corporal redemption for you. What I mean by that is of your physical being, your person. You will remain incarcerated until the date of your death is scheduled to occur. However, I do not know what your spiritual leanings are, and it really does not matter to me either way. I am very grateful that I live in a country where people can believe or disbelieve anything they choose.
God
That
bless the
applies to
USA.
you equally. However, if you do ever pray to a higher power, either now or at some point before the date of your death is scheduled to occur, and you truly seek forgiveness and redemption for the sins and the crimes you have committed, I hope that you're afraid of it.
Oh.
And I do still see the humanity in you.
I thought she was going to say some messed up stuff. Literally, she's just telling this guy that she hopes he prays to whoever he believes in and actually gets forgiven. But that's not going to change anything on this earth because he's going to die for it. I thought she was just going to get on him and say some stuff to hurt his feelings or something, you know? Which I don't know what y'all think about that. Let me know in the comments. Do you think he deserves forgiveness? And whether or not we think he deserves forgiveness, if he truly asks for forgiveness and repents, God saves anybody, whether we like it or not. We wouldn't know. We don't know his plans, God's mind. We don't know none of that. Now, if you were to ask me, I do not think that he deserves forgiveness. I do not think that he should go to heaven. But I am just another human being who is not perfect either. So if God decides to forgive this guy because he honestly and truly believes in his heart that he did wrong and wants to be forgiven, I can't do anything about that. But me being a human and hearing this, I don't think he deserves it. But whatever, right? I probably didn't deserve half the things that I did to be forgiven, but here we are.
May God have mercy on your soul, Mr. Ritchie.
Oh, the old line. May God have mercy on your soul.
We are now concluded, other than I am going to read
what is this?
Note that I received.
An impact statement?
Unsealed.
I thought they did impact statements first.
Sealed. I'm now going to unseal it.
Oh, she's smiling. That ain't no impact statement.
And it is a card, and it says, I thank God as I remember you.
She's getting emotional.
Timothy 1:3.
She's about to cry.
And it's from the family of Felicia Williams, and it's a photograph of Felicia, aka Sugar Plum.
Oh man, Sugar Plum.
And I wish to thank you all for this. God bless all of you.
I feel so bad for that
Thank
family,
you very
man.
much. We're now concluded.
What are you saying?
They are.
No,
I'm
they're
sorry.
trying to
They are concurrent. As to each, yes, as to each and every.
trying to be clear on the sentencing. It doesn't matter. You're dying. I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't like defensive attorneys because I feel like they're scum that they protect people like this. But that's their job, you know.
And Mr. Brunfon and Mr. Harmon, I do have conformed copies of the sentencing order, the original.
All right. The rest of that is just them doing their little paperwork and stuff. So that's what he got. He got a death sentence. He got a life without parole. He got 30 years. And then he had a couple of other counts for other stuff he had pled guilty to previously that's just going to be concurrent with, I guess, the life without parole. What do you think? Did he get what he deserved? Was the sentence too harsh? Do you believe God should forgive him? Would you be able to forgive him if you were that family? These are all questions I would really honestly like to know from everybody out there. I will say what I believe to all those in the comments. I want to see what everybody else has to say first. So rest in peace to that little girl. May she be in heaven where she belongs. And may God heal that family's hearts. Because that is tough. I just can't imagine something like that happening to my little girls. But this is another reaction video. So far I don't like the material inside of the videos I'm reacting to, but I like doing reaction videos. It's actually pretty kick back and fun. Let's try to find something a little less depressing next time, shall we? So I want to thank everybody for coming and watching. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. That helps me out a lot. It's absolutely free. It just takes you a couple of seconds to do, right? And hit that notification bell so when a new video comes out, you'll be one of the first to be notified that a new video is out. I want to thank everybody for coming and watching. Y'all are the best, especially to all my subscribers. And until next time, like always, stay tuned.